Welcome back to the Angels here on MLB The Show 25. As you can see, the trades have gotten off to a start here. Andre Pallante being sent from the St. Louis Cardinals, continuing their offseason of just basically gutting their entire roster, and now sending Andre Pallante, the 27-year-old reliever, to the Baltimore Orioles with 3 years left on his contract. Or no, I guess he's in the last year of a 3-year deal. Okay, so he does have 2 more years of team control, though, so they are getting a controllable, very, very good reliever. And in order to get that, the Cardinals get a bad C potential prospect and a also bad C potential prospect. So as far as what our plans are heading into the trade deadline here, as you can see, things have really gone downhill here in Anaheim. We are 3-7 in our last 10. We are 9 games out of first place, sitting at 56 and 52. The month of July here towards the end has not gone well. We had that stretch towards the end of June with this Cleveland series, the Boston series, and then getting swept by the Yankees and the Padres. And then it looked like we were going to turn things around, and then we lost the series to Tampa Bay. And then we came out of the All-Star break, and we lost the series on the road to the White Sox, who were just dreadful. So that's terrible. We get swept by the Mariners, who we're trying to compete with. And then we just split a 4-game set with Texas in Texas. So now we're going into an athletic series right before the trade deadline here, and all of a sudden, things are not looking as good for us here in Anaheim. As I said, 9 games out of first place, and just not trending in the right direction. We are still currently in the mix for the wild card, I believe. Blue Jays and Rangers. Wait, no, never mind. So Blue Jays and Rangers have a huge lead on us, and then we are the third wild card spot. So we need to hold on to this, and we've got a bunch of teams behind us here. Guardians, Yankees, Red Sox even. The A's are probably a bit out of it at this point, but, we've got like 3 teams that could really push us for that third wild card spot, and we would like to make the playoffs this year. That was our goal originally, and now we're in this weird spot where we don't want to go out and really buy, but we also don't really want to sell anybody either. So just as a reminder to what we set up as our trade block last time going in, just as a rough idea of what we were going to be looking for, if we were going to buy, Trey Gregory Alford was going to be a prospect pitcher that we dangled in somebody's face as hey, this is a guy we would be willing to give up. Kyron Paris, also a guy we might look to trade. Chase Silseth, who has not been great for us in the bullpen this season, but I do still think long-term is a good pitcher. But we have so many good pitchers now that it's I would be willing to trade from a strength to upgrade a weakness, even if that strength is something that we're trying to upgrade. It's weird because we have so many young pitchers, but our pitching has not really been great this year. If we take a look at what am I looking for here? Jesus Christ. We take a look at our pitching rotation here. Kikuchi has been not the best. He's also old. He's going to be entering the last year of his deal next season, and he's just not performing well. He's got a 4.8 ERA. His FIP is also 4.8, so it's just overall not good, especially since he was coming off a 3-war season for us last year. Just been very, very disappointing this year. George Klassen has been up and down as a rookie or a young player you would think would do. But overall, I would say he's been pretty solid. 4 ERA with a 4.48 FIP. It's been higher. The ERA has been lower throughout the year, but the FIP has always been pretty much around a mid-low 4. So I do still think that George Klassen is going to be a very, very good pitcher for us. But, young pitcher struggles at the moment. Reed Detmers has just been terrible with a 5 ERA. Jose Soriano has been just bad. Caden Dana's also been like the George Klassen type, where he's been, just young struggles. He's 22. He's got a 4 ERA, and then he has a 4.3 FIP. So he's actually been a little bit better than Klassen for us. But, long-term right now, in this rotation right now, it's really just Klassen and Dana who we're really confident about. I'm not 100% confident in Detmers, although he is an 80 overall B potential, still only 26 years old. We have 2 more years of arbitration left on him. So he theoretically he is going to be around for us the next couple of seasons, but he's definitely the third of the guys I trust the most. So we could definitely pick up a starter here, and if we do, I would want him to be team controllable. Somebody who's not an expiring starter. If we do pick up a starter that's expiring, it would have to be somebody who we don't give up a ton for. And really, even though Soriano's been slightly better than Detmers, he's got a 4.8 ERA with a 4.7 FIP, and then Detmers has the 5.7 ERA with the 4.8 FIP. I just think long-term Detmers is the better starter for us, and Soriano he's just not very good. And he could possibly be a really good reliever. So I don't know. We're leaning towards, if we pick up a starter, Soriano would be the one to move to the bullpen, and that pushes one of these guys down to AAA, probably Silseth if we don't trade him. But we could also do something where we are maybe buying and selling at the same time, but that also could be an insane thing to do, like Hobie Milner here. In real life, an expiring reliever like this on a borderline wildcard team like us, I would say 1 billion% trade. You should just absolutely cut bait, trade, get what you can for him. Especially a guy who's on an expiring contract like this. It's just the most obvious thing to trade in real life. But in this universe, in this game, MLB The Show does not value relievers, so there's really only so much I could get for a player like Hobie Milner, where in real life you might be able to get a decent prospect for him at the deadline to a contending team. So if there is something out there I could get valuable for Hobie Milner, I would not be opposed to doing that. I wouldn't really love putting Angel Perdomo into a setup role, as he's had a 5 ERA this season. I believe the FIP's been a little bit higher than I thought it was, but it's definitely been lower than the ERA has been. I don't love putting him into a setup role, but would I be totally against it? No. If we could get something good for Milner, we might look into doing that. Maybe even Sir Anthony Dominguez. He's another guy who's on an expiring contract for us. If we could get something for him, I would also maybe look into that. Maybe not the smartest thing to be selling off our expiring bullpen pieces while we're trying to compete for the wild card, but at the end of the day, we're not trying to win the World Series this year. Although now that I say that out loud, it's also kind of like, how many more years of Trout do we have? We have Trout, who is 34 years old. You can see he's already starting to regress here. How long until the regression really hits him hard? Is it going to be next season? It's the year after that. Obviously he's a very, very, very good player, so it's going to take a couple of years for the regression to really tank him to be a totally useless player. I would probably say maybe the last 2 or 3 years of this contract are going to be pretty rough with him. But, we would like to try to win while he's still good. So maybe, now that I'm saying that out loud, maybe we don't try to trade Milner and we do try to add, because we need to win with Mike Trout right now. Might as well try to get into the playoffs and then see what happens. Anything can happen. You'll also be seeing here that Isaac Collins is currently on a cold streak for us. He is significantly cooled off since his hot start coming up from AAA. Definitely not going to be looking at him to be our center fielder from here on out. I am encouraged by his development so far, so I do think he is an interesting player for us heading forwards. But I do think that Trent Grisham is our center fielder. But at the same time, Trent Grisham has also been really, really, really bad. A sub 600 OPS. I mean, you can talk all you want about how he's been here for his glove, but we don't expect a sub 600 OPS from Trent Grisham, so he has one more year in his contract. If there's possibly something we could do to maybe add Silseth and him and get a center fielder who's better than Grisham, maybe that's something we can look into. But center fielders are not exactly hanging around on the market available to just trade for. So we are making our first trade here at the deadline, and we are going to be picking up Shane McClanahan from the Tampa Bay Rays in return for Trey Gregory Alford, our 19-year-old B potential starting pitching prospect. Shane McClanahan is a team controllable for one more season reliever. The Rays are currently in last place, well below 500 in the American League East. McClanahan, 85 overall, B potential, on paper, very, very good starting pitcher. Thing is, he has not performed. Last season, he had a 4 ERA, low 4 ERA, with a 4.6 FIP. He has a 5 FIP this season, with a 5 ERA as well in 22 starts. So we're hoping that he's going to turn things around when he comes to us. And then we also have him for next season through arbitration as well. So Shane McClanahan, he's going to come to our team. We're going to hope that he can figure things out for the rest of this season and next year. Give us a boost to our rotation down the stretch here. Give us a legitimate, number one, hopefully, heading into the playoffs with Kikuchi struggling for us. And then Trey Gregory Alford trading from our depth of starting pitching prospects. B potential guy, 19 years old. A couple years down the line could be a really good starter for them if he develops. He's been developing quite nicely. He's currently pitching very, very well in Double-A through 19 starts. So hopefully he's pitching well for them down the line, as the Rays, like I said, very bad team right now, and this is absolutely something they would do, where they would ship off somebody like McClanahan, who only has one more year of team control left through arbitration, and we could possibly even think about extending him past that arbitration, but we will get to that point when that time comes in the offseason at that season. But for now, what we know is that Trey Gregory Alford is going to Tampa Bay's organization, and Shane McClanahan is coming to ours. And just to show everyone, the Tampa Bay Rays here, 50-57, 7 games under 500. They're 12 games out of first place, and they are not within reach of the wild card here. They're 5.5 games out, but they have multiple teams in front of them, 4 in front of them. This is definitely something they would look to do here. So the Rays shipping McClanahan to us. So now, as far as a reliever that we're thinking about picking up, there are 2 options that I'm considering. One is shipping off Kyron Paris to the Tampa Bay Rays. You could think of this as what should have been just like a package deal I should have done. The other trade and this one combo together, so it's just one big swing. But Kyron Paris for Pete Fairbanks here, who is an expiring closer. He has only this last year in his contract. He's entering free agency. We could possibly bring him back. I would probably be interested in trying to bring him back if we do trade for him. But as of right now, not currently under team control after this season, obviously. 32 years old. Very good reliever. He's a 3 ERA this season with a 3 FIP. Last year he had a 4 FIP with a 4 ERA. High 4 ERA, that is. Solid closer. We need bullpen help. He could help our bullpen expiring contract. The other one is with the San Francisco Giants, who have been a bad team, is Camilo Doval. Now, the thing about him is that he is younger. He's 28 years old, and he's having about the same season that Fairbanks is having right now, although he's doing it as just a setup man, and Fairbanks is the closer. But last year had a down year, had a 4 ERA. I guess not a down year. I guess that's just kind of what he was back-to-back years. A little bit better, 4 ERA in 2025, and then a 4 FIP as well. Doval, the thing about him is that he has one more year of team control. So I don't know. The game is allowing me to do this, and I've talked about how the relievers just don't have value in this game. So if the AI teams are going to trade for relievers for nothing, I feel like Kyron Paris, as a really good defensive shortstop who could possibly turn into a solid bat against left-handed pitching, I feel like that's a pretty decent trade. Kyron Paris for Camilo Doval or Pete Fairbanks, whichever one we decide to go with. I'm kind of leaning Doval just so we get that extra year of control, but I also don't know if that's totally ripping off the CPU to the point where maybe I should look to be more of the Fairbanks deal. And just to mention it, the Giants are currently 51-55. They are 13 games out of first place here in the National League West, and they are 7.5 games out of the wild card. Multiple teams in front of them to that third spot. So they are definitely a team that will be looking to move on from a reliever like that, who they could get something for. And in this game, obviously, the trade value for relievers is just not good. So I think I'm leaning Doval. I think we're going to go Doval. So Camilo Doval coming to the Los Angeles Angels, and Kyron Paris going to the San Francisco Giants. So I'm thinking that's going to be all we do here at this trade deadline, as we pick up the starter, we pick up the reliever, and we see how the team does down the stretch, adding those 2 players to the mix, keeping the bats how they are, and we'll see how it goes. So Shane McClanahan slots into our rotation with Kikuchi, Klassen, Detmers, and Dana, pushes Jose Soriano to the bullpen. We have Doval and Milner as the setup guys. We're still going to rock with Ben Joyce as the closer. He has a 6 ERA, I know that, but he has a solid sub-4 FIP, 3.75 FIP, So he's definitely got a bit unlucky. He has 7 blown saves, but he's got 22 saves. And I still trust him. He's the long-term guy we want at the closer spot, so we're going to trust him there at that closer spot with Doval and Milner in the setup role, double barrel. And then that makes our middle relief Dominguez, Johnson, Kahanowitz, and Soriano, with Bachman as the long man, who has been good for us as well. And Soriano, we have just made the full-time transition to the bullpen. He is no longer a starter for us. We do not look at him as a starter. He is a reliever. So Jose Soriano, we have given him a little bit of a bump to his hit per 9 and K per 9. You can see there, 70 hit per 9, 78 K per 9. He's a 78 overall reliever. I think he was like a 78 overall starter or something along those lines, around there. Obviously, this is a guy who throws super, super hard, and you would think would take up in the bullpen. So Soriano, definitely going to be intriguing to see what he can do for us in the pen now. And I think all of a sudden our pen is looking pretty solid now. I like the dudes we have in there. And we're going to head the rest of the season with this as our bullpen and see how things go. The other change we made, I should also mention, is that I did this just after the trade deadline, I believe. Or no, just after the All-Star break, I believe. Was we sent down Cole Fontenelle because he was just not performing well at the big league level. And I want to get him playing every day in AAA, see if he can, develop some more rather than just rotting away on the bench as a poor bench player at the moment. So he's in AAA right now, playing every day. And Travis Blankenhorn, who is a player who has just been in AAA for us, I should say, in Salt Lake the past 2 seasons, or this past season, and then also all of this year. Just being a decent player. I can't look at his AAA stats anymore because why would you be able to do that? But, looks like a decent player. Has some decent hitting ratings across the board, especially against right-handed pitching as a left-handed bat, but can hold his own against lefties, has some decent plate skills, can play some second and third base for you, some left field. Interesting players. So Travis Blankenhorn up here as a lefty bat for us off the bench. Spot Morrison start to second base. And see how things go down the stretch for us, as we are going to be rocking. This is the righty, this is the lefty, and see how things go. So we are here on the last day, the last period we can to sign our draft picks here. We have signed all of them except for Angelo Manuel, or Angelo Manuel. I don't know why that's so weird for me to say. Angelo Manuel, the first baseman out of Venezuela, who we have 65% scouted now, and it very much looks like he is going to be that type of bat that we thought he was going to be, even with 5% scouted. The thing is, we only have 2 days left until the signing deadline here, and he has declined my last offer. He is the last guy we have to sign here. His bonus demand is $2.4 million. He's only at the 56% motivation to sign. If we just crank this all the way up, I just want to ensure that we get him here, so we're just going to give him as much money as we possibly can give him. 60% motivation to sign. Please. He declines. He declines the offer, so we do not get an Angelo Manuel. I mean, come on, man. Okay, so we do get one more day. We do get one more day to sign Angelo Manuel. He is now up to 62% motivation. Offer contract. Crank that up to the max. 66% motivation to sign. Please, please sign with us. Thank God. Angelo Manuel has signed with the Angels. Let's go. Disaster avoided. Once again, ignore the appearance of all these guys. He will not be looking like that. What the hell is that look? And we are also now able to offer contract extensions, or I think we have been for a bit, but I'm tempted to just go right in here and offer Shane McClanahan this 5-year extension, possibly even 6 years, because he only wants less than $20 million a year. And he only has 1 more year of team control left. We lock in that age 29 season, and then we buy out his age through 33 season, I believe is what 5 years would be, and then 6 years would be his age 34 season. I'm tempted to just give him a 6-year deal and hope that he's our dude here. But 5-year possibly. I think 5 is what we're more so leaning to do. 6 could be interesting. 34 is not the end of the world. He's under 20 million. I think we're going to do this. I think we're going to try to drop this down as much as we can. maybe give him like 17.5, 105 million flat over 6 years. Will you accept this Shane McClanahan? You will not. What if we bump it up to just 18 flat? 108 million over 6 years. You will not do that either. What if we give you exactly what you want? 18.5 million per year, 110.8 million over 6 years. What do you... Yeah, come on. 111.5 million over 6 years. And there it is. Shane McClanahan is now our ace, at least hopefully, for the foreseeable future. And then we are also going to go ahead and give Zach Neto a 5-year extension. I don't want to commit long-term, like long-term, and give him like some like, hey, you're a lifetime Angel sort of deal. But I am willing to give him a 5-year extension at less than 20 million, 15.5 over the next few seasons. I believe next year he's projected to get like 7, and then it goes up to like 11. So we're not really paying him that much more, and we're hoping that as he keeps developing here, he will be outplaying this contract. So 5 years, 77.5 million. That's 15.5 million a year per. Will you accept it? We're buying out a bunch of years of free agency here for Zach Neto. As you can see, he has 3 years of team control coming up, and we are giving him a 5-year extension. So we will be buying out 2 years of free agency for him, and then he will be a free agent entering the 2032 season if we decide not to extend him at that point. So, Zach Neto, will you accept this deal? You will not. You're not interested in being locked up to a contract that long term? Okay, well, what if we give you 16 million? Huh? 80 million over 5 years. Okay. 16.5 million, huh? 82.5 over 5 years. Bang. Zach Neto and Shane McClanahan are locked up long-term here with us. So we are now here into about mid-August. It is August 10th. The Angels are sitting at 64-56 here on the 2026 campaign. And as you can see, we're coming off a couple series wins here. We just beat Toronto in Toronto, who is a good team, 2-1. Before that, we beat the Phillies, who are a very good team, on the road, 2-1. So very successful road trip there. Dating back before that, we had this series against the Giants, where we took 2 out of 3 from them at home in Anaheim. And then before that, we took 2 out of 3 from the Athletics. So now heading into this series against the New York Yankees, who are very, very much on our tail here in the wild card. We are currently sitting firmly in that third spot. I shouldn't say firmly. We're sitting shakily. We're sitting terrified. We're trembling in that third spot of the wild card with the Yankees right on our tail here, a half game behind us. They're 8-2 in their last 10. We're 7-3 in our last 10. Things are heating up here, folks. And then also, just a very quick run through our 2026 draft class to show you guys how we actually ended up doing in this one with our 6 selections. Once again, as always, disclaimer, ignore the appearances of these players. They will be changed, their numbers, their appearances, all of it is suspect to change. But number 3 overall, Reggie Coffey. We thought that he was going to be an A potential guy, only a B potential, but still looking like a very, very, very good left fielder. We will not be putting him in right field. He'll be playing left field for us. Looking like a very, very good bat. Then in round 2, we took on Hello Manuel, the Venezuelan first baseman. He also looks like he could be a really, really good hitter for us, the 18-year-old B potential. Then in round 3, we took John Burgess, the right-handed pitcher out of Arkansas. He is an actual 96 potential, so big-time hit there in the 3rd round with an 18-year-old starting pitcher. And then starting pitcher in the 4th round, Matt Humphreys. We took a swing on this guy as a big-time potential, but very much starting low overall. And he is a 52 overall with a 99 actual potential here, 21 years old, out of New Jersey. Shout out. So this guy, hopefully he can develop quite quickly, and you would expect that with a 99 potential, and he's already got a pretty decent walk per 9, so he could develop into a Jack Kahanowitz type for us down the line, and that's one of my favorite types of pitchers, guys who just fill up the strike zone, don't walk anybody, and then just work the soft contact. And then like Kahanowitz, even though he doesn't have the big strikeout numbers, throws really hard. And then in round 5, we took Anthony Bush as another swing on one of these high potential, low overall players, and he ends up being just that, 95 actual potential, but very far away from the major leagues here. Going to take a while for him to develop, but hopefully, 3 years down the line, 4 years down the line, he's going to be a bit older because he's already starting at 23 years old. Hopefully he can turn into a guy who, ends up being a late bloomer and could be something special for us. And then in round 6, we took that C potential starter, George Enriquez, out of Virginia. And what do you know? He's a C potential starter with a 72 overall. Add that to our mix of pitching depth here in the organization. The Angels starting their post-trade deadline playoff push here at home against the New York Yankees as the newly acquired southpaw Shane McClanahan is the one toeing the slab here for the Halos, making his 25th start here in 2026. After a first-inning home run, it's already 1-0 Yankees, but then McClanahan got in a bit of groove there as he gets Daz Cameron to ground out, and then he blows a 99-mile-an-hour fastball right by Jason Dominguez to end that top half of the second inning. And then in the bottom half, it is Marcus Stroman, the one chucking the pill here for the Bronx Bombers. In the bottom of the second, Jared Kelenic with 2 outs comes up to the dish, and he proceeds to take one out to left center field. That slow rolls up against the left center field wall and allows him to be in second base safely. And then Luis Arias comes up, hits one down that left field line. That'll score Kelenic and knot this game up at 1 run apiece on an RBI double off the bat of Arias. Move things on bottom 3 where Nolan Schanuel rips one right back up the middle. That's a 1-out single. Then it would bring up Mike Trout. He proceeds to ground one over to the shortstop Volpe, who tries to turn 2, but Trout beats it out on the back end, so he reaches on a fielder's choice, and then he would go off and show off the leg some more as he swipes second base. So he's in scoring position, and then Lamont Wade punches one through that left field gap there, or into left field through the infield gap, and then Mike Trout, beautiful slide to get away from the tag, and the Angels have themselves a 2-1 lead here in this one, as then moving on to the top of the 4th, McClanahan right back at it, getting Judge and Vladdy to both ground out in this inning. Then on to the top of the 5th, Dominguez walks, and suddenly he's in some trouble. 2 on, 1 out. Austin Wells comes up. That's another walk. Bases are juiced here for the Yankees, here with 1 out. But no need to fear. McClanahan works that ground ball, 4-6-3, and the 2-1 lead is intact. Take it into the 6th inning, where Cabrera goes down swinging. No chance on that one. 2 down, then brings up Aaron Judge, who would proceed to chop a 2-0 pitch. McClanahan taking this one himself, fire into first, 1-2-3 inning for the southpaw. Move things on bottom 6, where Lamont Wade Jr. powers one out to right field. This one's going to hit off that wall where it counts as a home run for some reason. Well, let's be honest here, it's because they had Ohtani for multiple years, and that's the Ohtani wall. Change it back, Angels. It's a dumb roll, but here we'll take it. 3-1 Halos is the lead, as we're now into the top of the 7th, as they get some base runners on here with some soft contact. Back-to-back ground balls get runners on, so it's 2 on, 2 outs, and then a little bloop shot here from Austin Wells is going to score a runner, and it's suddenly a 3-2 game. 1-run ball game, runners on second and third. 2 outs, Jose Soriano, the reliever, coming on here for the Halos, and he would proceed to just pump a hundo right past Peraza for out number 3 as he strands 2, and the lead is intact. And then move things on to top of the 8th, where another newly acquired arm in Camilo Doval enters for the Angels. And at the top of the 8th, Volpe, line drive, beautiful diving play by Trout. Doval's thanking his new right fielder there. Then later on in the inning, he would proceed to punch out Vladdy with a perfectly placed down and away slider for out number 3. And then at the bottom of the inning, against Jake Cousins, Mike Trout, big fly, absolute moonshot, 467. My goodness. Mike Trout extending the lead to 4-2. Then Ben Joyce would come on for the 9th, looking for the save in his 50th appearance of the season. And he would do just that as he gets Jason Dominguez the deep fly out to left field. as Kelnick puts it away, and that would be your ball game as the Halos win this one 4-2 over the New York Yankees here as they start their playoff push-off with the right step here post-trade deadline. Mike Trout is your player of the game. He had an 8th-inning home run to give them a 2-run lead, extend on, tack on some insurance runs there, or insurance run, I should say. McClanahan was solid on the bump, 6 2/3, 5 hits, 4 Ks, 3 walks, but only 2 earned runs given up, and he gets the win, obviously. Lamont Wade, 2 for 4 with a home run. Just overall a big win in the playoff race, as heading into this one, the New York Yankees were only a half game behind us in the wild card entering this contest. All right, folks, so we are a little bit later on here into the month of August, and as you can see, things have mostly been going pretty well here with the Angels. We swept the Yankees in that series. That was a huge, huge series win there. We beat the Houston Astros, who were a bad team. We should beat them 2-3. Unfortunately, we then lose to a bad team in the Royals. But then we sweep the Athletics, so that's good on the road. And now we have a series against the Cleveland Guardians, which unfortunately we've dropped the first game of, but we still have a chance to win the back two and salvage the series, which is an important series because if we look at the standings here, the division probably out of reach at this point. We're 11 games back. The Mariners have just been absolutely incredible this season. They have a commanding lead. Don't think we're going to be able to chase them down, but we are currently sitting in the second wildcard spot. The Rangers are right behind us, and then the Yankees, Guardians, and Red Sox are all still in the mix, trying to push for those last wildcard spots. So we need to keep winning. We need to keep fighting off these teams, and we've got this series against the Guardians to do so. And unfortunately, we can add another injury to our list here as Ben Joyce is currently on just the 15-day IL, so that is good to see. Out for 1 to 6 days left on that, 11 days left on the IL. So in 11 days, he'll be back, but he is going to miss some time here, unfortunately. And while he is out, we have made the decision to call up Hans Kraus, who is in our bullpen. He was performing quite well in AAA to the point where his ratings looking pretty solid. So Hans Kraus getting a shot here in the big league bullpen. And while Joyce is out, Camilo Doval is filling the role of closer for us. The Angels once again at home, but this time against the Cleveland Guardians, as Reed Detmers, another southpaw, on the bump here for the Angels, making his 26th start of the season. And here with a runner on first and 1 out, it would be a ground ball from Jose Ramirez. That 6-4-3, beautifully turned double play there, gets them out of the top half of the first. No insane first inning from Detmers in this one, or second inning, as he would then get a ground ball to tiptoe out of danger in the second, move things on to the fourth, as that's where finally we get some runs on the board. Jose Ramirez can't keep him down. Punches one out to right field, opposite field home run, solo shot. His 33rd of the season makes it a 1-0 Gardos lead. Joey Cantillo was the one chucking the pill for the Gardos on the day, making his 3rd start of the season. Take a look at the Angels lineup he'll be facing, listed 1-2-9. And we'll start things off here in the bottom of the 5th for the Angels bats. Still 1-0, obviously. Leadoff walk there for Logan O'Hoppe. So he's on, and then Lamont Wade, perfect, drives one out to deep center field, somehow dies at the track, but then Luis Arias comes up, you give him that middle pitch, and he is taking that one deep. 2-run blast off the bat of Arias, 439 down the left field line, as that is a 2-run blast, and the Angels are now up 2-1 in this game. So top 6, Detmers back on the bump, walking Ramirez to lead off the inning. Not how you want to go. Then Jhonkensy Noel comes up, and Big Christmas is going to punch one up the middle. Base knock, so first and second, nobody out for Chase DeLauder, the James Madison man. He goes out to left field, lefty on lefty crime there. And that's going to score the runner somehow as he gets around the tag. Jose Ramirez does, and that would end Reed Detmers' day as it's a tie ball game. And the Dallas Baptist man and Ryan Johnson comes out of the arm barn here for the Halos. So 2-on, nobody out. Arias, line drive right at Arias, snags that one for out number 1, then brings up Martinez, ground ball at the shortstop, 6-4-3 perhaps? Yes, not indeed, confused myself there. Gets the fielder's choice, but then Johnson strikes out the next batter in Canario, and he would strand all those runners, keep the game at a 2-2 tie. As we move things on to the bottom of the 6th, the Nolan Shawnuel going down the right field line, clang, off the foul pole. That would give the Halos a lead in this one, 3-2. They are back on top and take that into the top of the 9th inning, where Yandy Diaz comes on to pinch hit against Hobie Milner here. A bunch of lefties in the order aside from Diaz, as Diaz singles there to lead off the inning. Then it brings up a lefty in Shane McGuire. He lays down a beautiful sac bunt, gets Diaz over to second base. And then it would bring up Nolan Jones, another lefty, gets a line drive, but a beautiful leaping catch, keeping the run at second base from Luis Arias there. But then Brian Rocchio goes up the middle. That's going to score the runner, and it's suddenly a tie game once again as they just barely get past the tag there, sliding into home plate. So move things on bottom 9. O'Hoppe punching one out to right field. That's a single. Then it brings up Lamont Wade. Line drive knocked down by Hunter Gaddis. Runner moves up to second base, but now there's 2 outs for Luis Arias. Wild pitch gets to the backstop. Runner moves up to third base, and then Arias spits on ball 4. Suddenly there's 2 on with 2 outs. Brings up Vidal Brujan. Pitch gets away from him. The runner, O'Hoppe, coming to the plate, and they slap the tag on him. Somehow. Perfectly executed, and we are going to extra innings. So in the top of the 10th, Jose Soriano, the reliever, trademarked, comes on in out of the bullpen, and he'd proceed to just do what he does, crank it up to 100, blow it past the guy, gets out of it, move things on bottom 10. Trevor Stephanon for the Guardians for the 40th time this season against Vidal Brujan with a runner on second base and the ghost runner. First batter of the inning, wild pitch gets to the backstop, runner on third. Now with 1 out, as Brujan goes down swinging. He cannot drive him in, but then it brings up Christian Moore, and he does. An absolute blast off the bat of the Tennessee Volunteer Christian Moore. 2-run blast as the Angels walk this one off. Thanks to Christian Moore, a 5-3 final in this one. Something about his swing, man, it just feels phenomenal to use in game. I wish he simmed better because he is just so fun to use in the game. Something about it just clicks in my brain, and it just works well. Christian Moore walks this one off. Arias, Moore, Shawnwell all had home runs. The only other hit was an O'Hoppe single in the 9th inning for us, as we only had 4 total hits on the day, but it gets the job done. Over the Guardians, Detmers goes 5 innings, 8 hits, 3 Ks, 2 walks, only 2 runs, as he gets not the win, Soriano gets the win, but a solid appearance for Detmers, or solid start, I should say. So we are coming up on the halfway point of the month of September here, and as you can see, we had to DFA and waive Angel Perdomo, and he was claimed by the Miami Marlins, so he will no longer be on our team this season. We had to make room for him because Curtis Mead was back from his injury, and we had to make room in the 40-man because he was on the 60-day IL, and we had to put him back on the 40-man. So Curtis Mead is back, as you can see. We just beat the Baltimore Orioles. Big-time series win there. We now have 81 wins on the season. And even though Curtis Mead is back, we do have the unfortunate injury news of Logan O'Hoppe. Had a shoulder pull. He was out for like 2 weeks. So he's actually been on the IL for a bit here on the 10-day IL. He only has 1 to 6 days left on his injury, though, so he will be back here fairly soon. But while he has been out, our catcher situation has been a platoon of Matt Theis against right-handed pitching, and then against left-handed pitching, it has been Gustavo Campero. And then the September call-ups that we made here for the September call-ups were Hunter Bishop, finally making the major leagues here as a former first-round pick. He's just been developing nicely to the point where I'm like, hey, let's just get this guy in the big leagues, see what he can do, give him some run here. Obviously not going to get a ton of ABs as an extra outfielder here in the month of September, but, he's on the 40-man now. He's now a part of our system. He's now part of our 40-man roster as a player who could possibly be a 4th outfielder type next year for us. And then on the pitching side of things, Ben Joyce is back in the closer role, returned from his injury, so it's back to Duvall and Milner as the setup. The middle relief are Dominguez, Soriano, Johnson, and Kohanowitz. And then we also called up who did we call up? Or I guess we called up Hans Kraus for Joyce's injury, so we just left Kraus as the extra arm here. We originally had called up Perdomo as another lefty to get up here, but we sent him down once Mead came back and DFA'd him. So now, We sent him down once Joyce came back, and then we DFA'd him once Meade came off the IL. And then one thing that I'm kind of not really the happiest about is the fact that the bullpen management is definitely better from the AI perspective. They definitely tend to spread things out a bit more. Maybe this is just because he's listed as a starting pitcher, even though he's not listed as a long reliever. Conowitz here has just been getting absolutely rolled out there a ton. I shouldn't roll, that's not the right word. He's been getting rolled out there a ton. 127 innings pitched and 59 appearances. Now, like, sure, if I was in OTP setting him as a stopper, I would expect something like that, but in this game, that's not what's happening. It's the game is just ignoring the fact that he's a middle reliever. So I guess in order to avoid this, I would have to just tank his stamina rating and change him to be a reliever, but I don't want to do that because, for reasons I've talked about, it's very annoying to constantly change guys from relievers to starters if you want to move into the bullpen of the rotation, and I think that Kohanowitz could be an interesting starting option for us here within the next season or two. Alrighty, folks, we are now a little bit later on into September here. It is September 16th. We unfortunately just dropped the first game of this set to the Baltimore Orioles on the road, but we're coming off a series win of the Cubs, and then also a series win at home against the Orioles, and then a sweep of the Astros. Unfortunately, we lost this set to the Pirates, who are actually a scrappy team in this. And then dating back to August, we lost this series to Seattle because they're just absolutely incredible in this. We lost that series to Cleveland, unfortunately, a one-run loss in the third game of that. But overall, it's been a bunch of solid ball here from the Angels. Unfortunately, we did drop this one. Shane McClanahan was on the bump for the first game of the set. He went 6 innings, only gave up 3 runs. And then the bullpen with Ben Joyce ended up blowing it, which is very unfortunate because he has just not figured out that closer role quite yet for us. And then the other unfortunate thing is that we have another injury to add to the list, as Mike Trout will be missing 1 to 2 weeks with an inflamed hip. So he's going to miss the rest of the season, I'd imagine, and hopefully he's back in time for the playoffs when we make it. And right now it's looking like we are going to be a team who does make it. The Mariners have already clinched a playoff spot. Obviously, they're running away, or they've clinched the division. They've clinched the division and the best record in the league? Or I guess just the West? No, they've clinched the best division and the best record in the American League. So yeah, 99 wins, and they have like 2 weeks left to get some more. So the Mariners are just absolutely a wagon in this. But 83 and 68 for us, very respectable. 7 and 3 in our last 10. We're 15 and a half out of the West, but we are currently sitting as the second place spot in the wild card. Guardians are in the third place spot, and then the Rangers behind them trying to push for that third spot. Yankees and Red Sox are starting to fall out of it a bit here, especially the Yankees 2 and 8 in their last 10. But the Guardians and Rangers very much still pushing for that third spot, and we're trying to hang on to this second spot, and this could be a big series here. We take 2 to 3 from the Orioles, we could start getting closer to that top wild card spot. The Angels' offense has been clicking lately as they are hitting the road here to head to Baltimore to take on the Orioles, who are one of the top teams in the American League East. Yusei Kikuchi on the bump here for the Angels. We'll start things off bottom half of the second inning where Ryan Mountcastle draws a leadoff walk for the O's. Then it brings up Emmanuel Rivera, and Kikuchi can't find the strike zone here either. Gets squeezed there on the fourth ball, but nonetheless, that's a walk. So 2 on, 1 out for Heston Kjerstad, who then grounds a slow one up the middle. Charging it is Grisham. His throw to the plate will not be in time. Run scores, and the O's have themselves a 1-0 lead here early in the game. And Eric Fetty was the one throwing the pill here for the Orioles on the day. Take a look at the Angels lineup. We'll start things off for them in the top half of the fourth, where Zach Neto sends one into the Baltimore Knights. You don't have to worry about Baltimore when you hit it that far, and also it's in left center, so there's no Baltimore. Over the bullpen there, 433. A solo shot puts this one at a tie game at 1. Move things on top 6. Runner on second base. 1 out for the Angels as Curtis Maid drives one down the left field line. RBI double for him, and the Halos have themselves their first lead of the ball game. Bottom half of the inning now, didn't last long. Jackson Holliday powers one, muscles it into the right center field seats, and that one is going to tie this game up at 2 as the O's battle back. And then later on in the inning, it's Adley Rutschman. He comes up, first pitch swinging, and he hits one. So far, it's way over Baltimore. No doubt. Solo shot, second of the inning for Baltimore. And now, it's a 3-2 Orioles lead. Top 7, and the Michigander, Keegan Akin, enters the game here for the Orioles, making his 61st appearance of the year. And leading off the inning for us is Nolan Shawnwell, grounding one through the right side there, finding some outfield grass, leadoff base knock. Then it brings up Lamont Wade. Pitch gets in the dirt away from Rushman, allows Shawnwell to move up into scoring position. And then unfortunately Wade would go down swinging, so one down, runner still in scoring position. Then it brings up Zach Neto. He would unfortunately chase a circle change down and away. Now it's 2 down, runner on second base, but Keegan Akin cannot quickly get out of it there as he walks the next batter in O'Hoppe, who's been very patient as of late. So first and second here, 2 outs. Andre Pallant, their newly acquired reliever, comes on, and he would get out of it as he just perfectly places a slider that would never get called. He didn't perfectly place that. That was a misfire that wouldn't have get called in real life. It would have been a ball, but in this, it's a strikeout. So now we're on the top of the 8th. Trevor Gott comes on. He throws a ball right at Luis Arias, puts him on here with 2 outs, and then Travis Blankenhorn, recently called up from AAA Salt Lake, coming on to pinch hit here, and this one's gone. Adios Pelota, an absolute bomb off the bat of Travis Blankenhorn, 436 to right center field. You would think it'd be a back-breaking homer. Travis Blankenhorn, his 5th home run since coming up from Salt Lake. He has been on fire. And Hobie Milner, who has been fantastic, is coming on out of the bullpen. An ERA under 1.5. Enrique Bradfield Jr., ground ball to shortstop. Beautiful play by Neto, getting the speedy Bradfield. But then Jackson Holliday lays down a beautiful bunt. You would think Bradfield would be doing that, but no, it's Holliday. He reaches on first. And then he would have the runner going. Ball gets over the head of the left fielder Kelnick there, up against Baltimore now. And Holliday would end up scoring on this as Gunnar Henderson drives in the runner. Ball gets out of O'Hoppe's glove there somehow. And we move things on as Jose Soriano comes on, as it's now a 4-4 tie ball game once again. Rushman comes up, gets a ground ball. Meade throws over to first base, gets the second out, and then Ryan Mountcastle powers one. Left field, it just keeps carrying and carrying and carrying, and that is gone. 2-run blast, and that is the back-breaking home run. 19th of the season for Mountcastle, and the Orioles end up just winning this one as Felix Bautista comes out of the bullpen. They're playing the Omar whistle. It is over. No chance for the Angels. They did get a base runner in the top of the 9th, but with 2 outs, Kelnick would just pop one up to shallow center field, as that is your final 6-4 as the Orioles. They were just feisty. We would take a lead, they would tie it. We would take a lead, they would tie it, and then they had the massive back-breaking home run there off the bat of Mountcastle. We could not keep the lead off of Blankenhorn's homer. Mountcastle was your player of the game here as the O's top the Angels here in Baltimore. The Angels back at home now as they're taking on an AL West foe in the Texas Rangers, who we have seen many times this season. Dane Dunning is the one toeing the slab for the Rangers on the day, making his 30th start of the season. And here in the bottom half of the first inning, Nolan Shawnwell. He's going down the right field line. That's going to get up against the wall, as that's a lead-off 2-bagger for Shawnwell. So right in scoring position, right off the bat, and then Lamont Wade comes up. He goes down swinging. Then it would bring up Zach Neto. He steps into the box with 1 out, and he would go down swinging. Can't make contact on the slider there. Then it brings up Logan O'Hoppe, and he would end up shattering his bat, popping one up to Semien at second base as they strand the runner who was over there with nobody outs. That would be a recurring theme in this one. George Klassen, the University of Minnesota man, making his 32nd start of the season. 2 on, 1 out. Marcus Semien ripping one over the head of Blankenhorn in left field, and it just keeps carrying into the Rangers bullpen, giving his teammates a souvenir out there. A 3-run blast early on in this game as Semien connects on that one, and then Evan Carter muscles one to deep right field. Looks like it's going to be 4-0, but somehow Kelnick, playing right field in the day, gets to this one, brings it back in, keeps it at 3-0. So then the Angels got to start chipping away. It's Luis Arias here, grounding one down the left field line in the bottom of the 3rd. Base knock. Then it brings up Trent Grisham. He's powering one out to left center field. Not out of here, but down into the gap. Arias is able to score all the way from first base as the Angels get on the board here. It's a 3-1 ball game off the bat of Trent Grisham there. Then it brings up Shawnuel. Line drive right at Jake Burger. Explaining a first baseman to an American. Imagine a burger. Bottom third still. Little dink and dunk shot there from Lamont Wade going down the left field line. That's going to make it 3-2, but then Wade is thrown it at second base, trying to stretch it into a double. Still in the bottom of the third. It is Zach Neto coming up. He singles, so still not done there. 2 outs, runner on first base. Neto running, perfectly executed hit and run as he's able to go first to third here. O'Hoppe gets on with a single. Runners on the corners. 0-2 with 2 outs to Kelenic. Cannot hold up. Throw over on the drop third strike. Pulls Burger off the bag and its bases juiced. Curtis Mead then comes up and he hits just a hard hit sinker right to the shortstop. Nothing else going for the Angels. So 3-2 ball game. Move things on. Bottom 4. Grisham spits on ball 4. He'll draw himself a 2-out walk on the 7th pitch of the AB. Then it brings up Shawnuel, top of the order. He's going down the left field line. That's going to be his second extra base hit of the game as Grisham is going to hold up at third base, though, so nobody comes in to tie it. And 2 on, run 2 in scoring position. Lamont Wade, that will then just pop up a slider to right field. Nothing going. Still 3-2, bottom 5. Neto spits on ball 4, leadoff walk. And then that would end Dane Dunning's day as Nathan Eovaldi comes on out of the bullpen as he's been shifted to the bullpen for some reason for them. And then O'Hoppe would come up. Perfect in the center field, but only going to be a base knock. But still Neto's got some speed, so he's going to be able to score all the way from first base. It's a tie ball game. 3-3. Angels have knotted this one up. So then bottom 6 trying to take the lead here. Shawnuel, another extra base hit. This one going to get into that left center field gap. A 2-out double for Shawnuel. And then it brings up Lamont Wade. He punches one through that left side of the infield, finds some outfield grass. Shawnuel, not the fleetest of foot, though, hangs up at third base. So runners on the corners here. Zach Neto thinks that one's sliding away. Turns out it's a fastball in the black. He goes down looking, strands 2 runners. Jacob Webb comes on here in the 7th inning for the Rangers. Still the 3-3 ball game. O'Hoppe, leadoff walk, like I said, been very patient lately. So he's on first base. Kelenic comes up, rips one up the middle, base knock. So first and second now here for the Halos. That would then bring up Curtis Mead with nobody out. He lays down the sack bunt, just trying to get 1 run to cross the plate here. 2 in scoring position, 1 out for the Angels. Brings up Travis Blankenhorn, possibly playing hero again. Not so much. Ground ball at the shortstop, nobody comes in. They then intentionally walk Arias to load the bases, set up the force at every bag. And Trent Grisham, who's got a couple hits on the day, trusted him in that 9-hole. He pops one up into right field. The American first baseman puts it away. And then we're on to the 10th inning. Still 3-3. Christian Moore coming on to pinch hit. Ghost runners on third base. Almost another walk-off. Just barely foul there. And then later on in the AB, a 2-2 count. Slider whiffs through it. That's the end of the 10th. We're on to the top of the 11th now. The American first baseman's in the batter's box. Ghost runner on second base. Here in the leading off the top 11th, and this one somehow just drops into no man's land. They send Peterson, who's the ghost runner, over to third. He gets thrown out, but then Burger moves at the second base. So basically nothing happened. It just 1 out. But then Adolis Garcia, slow roller into left field, and Burger chugging around third base, scoring 4-3 ball game off the Adolis Garcia RBI single. Hunter Harvey then comes on to close things out for Texas. And with leading off the first inning, Shawnuel grounds one over to second base. Ghost runners on third. You just need 1 to tie it. Wade spits on ball 4. That's a walk. It's first and third now. Hunter Bishop comes on to pinch run at first base to get some extra speed out there. And then it would be Zach Neto coming up. He spits on ball 4. Bases juiced. 1 out. You need 1 run to tie it. Logan O'Hoppe can't lay off the down changeup. He goes down swinging. 2 down. Jared Kelenic comes up. Well hit right at Adolis Garcia. Like middle-low fastball. Closer to middle though. Good timing. Line drive right at Garcia. Strand the bases loaded. You drop this one 4-3 to the Texas Rangers. as that is your final in 11 innings. An absolute heartbreaker here, as Marcus Semien gets the Player of the Game honors for the Rangers for his 3-run home run early on. Just so many runners left on base in this one for the Angels. They just could not hit with runners in scoring position on the day, and it's really been a theme down the stretch here in general for this Halos ball club. But some positives: Nolan Schanuel, 3 hits on the day and 6 ABs. 3 of them were doubles, all extra base hits. 12 total hits for the Angels, but they just couldn't get it done with runners in scoring position, like I said. Surely that will not come back to bite us in the end. I mean, it just... What can you possibly say? We're the frickin' Angels, man. We are the Los Angeles Angels. Just an all-time collapse here at the end of the season. I mean, look at September, man. I mean, what can you even say? We get swept by Baltimore on the road. We drop 2-3 to Milwaukee, and then we get swept by Texas, swept by Detroit. It was terrible. They're not a good team. And we miss out in the playoffs after we were up in the second wild card spot at like the beginning of September, and we ended up losing out on the wild card by a game because we went 1-9 in our last 10 on an L7 to end the season. It wasn't even like the Guardians or the Rangers were playing well down the stretch. We were just taking it to an entirely different level. I mean, just brutal. So there you see just the preview of what the playoff bracket is going to look like, the postseason bracket. We're not going to get into the full season recap right now. We'll be doing that at the start of the off-season video for the next episode. But, I mean, my God, what can you even say? Now let's just take a second look at this. I mean, just look at it. What can you say? The frickin' Angels, man.